Day 91. Our supervisor unfortunately can't make it today. It's meant to be his first day back, but he's got to quarantine. Apparently his wife may have COVID. So the whole quarantine police have been all over him. So let's have a quick walk around and update before things start. What's the time now? 7:45. That man provides the bobcat. He left early yesterday because he wasn't very well, so hopefully he's going to be back in today. We can get that big hole there filled up. Okay, so the swimming pool was finished off last night on the blinding front. So let's have a quick look at this now. Can even have a good walk on it as well now. So this is the first surface that they lay underneath anything that needs to be poured. And today what they've got to do is they've got to take cages basically all the way along to each one of the rebar. So they literally rebar this whole floor. And the whole floor itself has then got to be connected up to an earth, as I said yesterday, which should be in the plant room there somewhere. And then before you pour the concrete over the top of it, you've actually got to inspect or have it inspected to ensure that the earth has been welded onto the rebar properly. It's just to protect, if there's a lightning storm or whatever, it protects anything and anybody that's in and around it or utilising it. I'm not too sure how long that takes to get organised, so it's something we definitely need to do today. The space seems to be okay though. So this is basically a concrete and a very fine sand. They call it blinding. So yeah, rebar first, and hoping to pour on it this afternoon stroke this evening. So that'll be one thing done. We've got to get in here replastered off, pointing at the wrong place. All of this here's got to be replastered because at some stage the lid's going to go on top of that. And we've got to get these boxes over here finalised and the beam sorted out and then the cage coming over. So we need to block this wall up, but we can't block up until obviously this has been poured and it's gone off, which is a bit of a catch-22. They're also going to start putting a scratch coat inside the water tank as well. Once that scratch coat's gone on, then they can start blocking up the final wall. So they started the boxing of the corners. So here they sort of, certainly when it's joining another wall, they box up like this and then they pour it with concrete. That one's a block to block. That's a block to block. But this one here, again, this corner would be a concrete pour. So would that. And probably so would that. So we've got a wall to build up on here. That then seals that, and then we need to find out whether we're actually putting a water tank, a manufactured water tank in there, whether we're actually tanking it with our own rubber solution, having that inspected. I would have thought we're going to put a tank in there, so we need to get the thing. I mean, the lid's not going to go on that for a couple of weeks, so there's no major rush for that. The lid is going to go over to this wall here, and the rest of it on the other side is going to stay open for a while, so we've got some time with that. But the main pressure at the moment is, say, there's a swimming pool, the walls, so we can actually box right across. And then once we box across, then we can pour next door and here in one lump. But at the moment, it's looking like we're not going to be doing that. And that is a slight issue for me, because with any concrete that needs to be joined together, you can't get a cured concrete and a new concrete joining. They call it a cold joint, and it's above everything. So if there's a cold joint here, then obviously it can leak into here. They're talking about potentially putting the boxing to this wall here and pouring right across to here and then doing from here that way in two pieces. But again, that means I'm going to have a line of the concrete above, which I don't really want. And it also means that we have to build another wall here beside this one. So we have to go across to this wall, and then the other side will end up being on the new wall. So it just means we've got to build another wall, which is not major, but it's just, we can try and avoid that sort of thing. It just means we're saving money and saving, more importantly, time. But the biggest issue we've got at the moment is that we can't have the steel out on this roof, out in the open any longer. So as it is at the moment, it's been a week and a half now. So probably in total, what's that, Friday to Friday? So it's about 12 days so far. So the steel is turning orange. That means it's starting to oxidise. That means it's starting to rust. That also means that when you put it into the concrete, it carries on rusting, and eventually the rust and the concrete have some form of chemical argument. and the concrete cracks and blows, and then before you know it, you're having to come in at a massive expense and try and rectify problems. So really you need to be pouring within 2 to 4 days maximum. So we're at 12. Not good. Other than that, I think that's the main thing for today. The owner's not going to be here till about 10 o'clock apparently, so that's 11. He's definitely on Bayesian time, aren't you, Wayne? And the supervisor's not here, so I need to be around a little bit more today to make sure that things take place. 10 minutes, and then we expect to be working hard. So that's pretty much the goal for so far. So I'll update you a bit later on. 2 cement mixers, going flat out, feeding these boys. So at the moment they're inner scratch coating here, as well as feeding the bores with concrete. And at the same time, around the other side, the guys are also plastering. Same thing, so scratch coating going on here. Rebar is continuing on the pool, however it's a little bit slower than I'd like it to be, and they've got to get this done by 3/4 o'clock, so the big cheese Jeff's turned up, so the rebar's gone in here. And obviously all the way around's been finished off, so now it's the rebar across the actual floor itself. 12:30 catch up. Electrician up on the roof. Everyone's gone to lunch. It's a bit quiet. The boarding is starting to go across the storage area. Looks like all the plastering inside, the scratch coat plastering inside the water tank has been nearly finished, both sides, and the rebar is flying. So we now have most of the steels in. Obviously they have to wire them all together like so. So a lot of them aren't wired in yet, but that's pretty much what that will look like. This is what they're going to do across everything basically, but that will continue all the way through here. Once the walls have come up here, they'll do the same over here. They'll do the same once that's taken up across there. This whole span here, how they're going to do that I don't know, but that's going to have to be taken up with acros. As I said, the scratch coat inside the freshwater tank has been pretty much finished off. And they've also done the other side as well, all round and the outside as well, which I've shown you already. So there's still plenty more to do, obviously. The aim was to try and pour this evening on here, but that's not going to happen. Apparently it's going to be tomorrow morning now. So we need to find out what time the concrete's coming, because that needs to start curing. Yeah, as I say, they're starting in there, which is good. But again, until the walls are actually finished off, they're not going to be able to finish that off. But they will start boarding that, which is good. Other than that, obviously the guys up on the slab are still trying to finish off up there. But that's where we are so far, so still plenty more to do. And tomorrow pouring, fingers crossed. 3:25. Good site update, how things are going. Beat out the cement mixer. Okay, what have we got here then? Rebar is well underway on the swimming pool. We saw that earlier on, now it's all pretty much tied in, which is good. Pretty much all tied. So these boys will definitely be done by the end of the day, that's for sure. Feels not really got any more done on here, just as is. These boys have got the wall up now. And they're probably doing the actual columns. They're pouring concrete inside the holes. So quickly around, so we'll finish the outside, I would have thought. So obviously they'll have to pull the actual the column itself. They're probably doing that now. Would have thought. And on top of the building, the boys are still trying to finish off the plumbing and the electrics.